Hey guys, it's UI. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I have a Canva modern UI design made directly from my Android phone. I'm going to be taking different elements and composing them to create a real modern UI using the Canva Android app. If you are interested in using the Canva Android app, there is a link in the description below and also a video that will help you get started in case you missed when I posted it. So without any further ado, let's get started. As you all know, I like to make sure all my design elements are ready before designing. I'll need a proper artboard size. Since this is not a traditional design dimension, I'm going to make fit with whatever I want. I'll need a motorbike, like a sport motorbike, and I'm going to be using one from Top Speed and Pinterest. The link is also in the description below. You can check that out if you want to. I'm also going to need a logo and some icons, of which most of them are on the Canva Android app, and then I'm going to just hunt around for some inspiration. After having everything in order, we just need to jump right into Canva and start designing.
Okay, hey guys, so we are jumping into Canva and we are going to start designing. This is what we're going to be designing. I'm going to show you guys how to do this. And what I'm not going to be doing here is I'm not going to be using air again. So I'm not going to be using this bike again. I have a new bike that I'm going to use over here. It's blue. The link is also in the description, and I'm going to just make some adjustment here because I noticed that some things here are not the way they're supposed to be. And I'm also going to change the color because if you notice, the bike I'm going to be using is having a blue color, so I'm going to be changing the colors as well. I'm also going to change this logo here for this Mercedes because this is not a Mercedes company, it's going to be a Yamaha company. And I also have a logo for the Yamaha, so this is the logo I'm going to be using for the I'm going to use that to replace that particular logo there. And that's it. So the actual size for this design is the actual size that I use for this design is 4,320 for the width, and then for the height I used 3,240. So this is the actual dimension that I use for this design. So you can also replicate the same thing. And for the main box here, I just had to be sure that I reduce this to this level. So this is just a few things that I'm going to be showing you guys before now, and if you are ready for this particular stuff, let's jump right into Canva and start designing. So I'm going to be sure that I have the actual proportions so I can replicate this particular stuff and delete every other thing existing and start designing correctly. So I'm going to just do basic measurements. And to do the basic measurements, I'm just going to use lines or like kind of a rectangle and try to manipulate a line out of it and use that. So I'm going to go to illustration. I'm going to choose shape. I'm going to pick this one, and this is going to be what I'm going to use. So I'm just going to stretch it this way. So what I'm trying to do is to get actual dimensions for what I want to be designing. So with this way, so I can just reduce it like this as well. I think it's going to be kind of good for a line, but something needs to be done and need to also increase it. And then just take it down like this. I think I'm getting a proper kind of line. So this is how you can also draw your lines on Canva. So for the this, I'm going to assume that this is going to be what I'm going to use for my heading. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to also make it this way. So for this part, everything I'm going to do for the heading is going to be on that particular row. I'm going to duplicate this as well, and also give an edge to it here. So I do not want this design to be more than this part, so I'm going to have every single thing on this part. I'm also going to pick this and say I want this to be actually here. So if you notice, this is not proper, so I want this to just get to this point here. This is cool. Then I will also decide that I want the width and the height of the bike to be for a particular proportion. So I'm going to pick this size here. This is going to help us when we are doing this design. So I'm just going to measure this here just for proper alignment. And then I also want to get this part done like this. So since we are not going to be using air, so it means that something else is not going to be fitting well, but we're going to find a way to do all of that. So I'm going to put this here to tell this guy that, okay, this is going to be for my pre-order, and I'm still going to replicate that for my pre-order as well. I'm going to put this here to say, okay, this is just where I want you to be. I do not want you to go more than this part. Okay, I'm going to put it from here, and then I'm going to say I do not also want you to go more than this part. So this is cool for me. I like this. Okay, so this is pretty cool. Then I'm just going to replicate this one as well and push it towards this side, because I do not want it to also be just stretch and just make my screen looking so dirty. But if I want to make proper adjustment, that means I'm going to just push this towards this direction, so I have the other stuff like I have on the right, on the left. Okay, so this is pretty cool, and with this set and ready to start designing, we are just going to jump right into Canva and just start. But one thing is we're going to do is to also get the proper alignment for our paper. So when we're going to be creating a paper, we want to maintain the same size of paper that we are having here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just duplicate this line here and put it right here as the height. And then I'm going to still duplicate it, and I'm also going to put it just below here. Okay, and this one I'm also going to duplicate it. I'm going to put it just right here. I'm going to duplicate it again and take it to this particular part here, so it's going to be fine here. Okay, so this is exactly what we are going to do, and then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to replicate this on a different board. So I'm not going to be using this. I'm going to go to pages here. I'm going to go over here, deleting this one. So this particular one, I will just duplicate it. So we have two of this right now. So with this, we can start our designing, and every single thing will be perfect for us. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete every single thing that we have here. So every single thing, I'm going to delete all of the paper, everything. Just going to delete every single thing that we have here. So we're going to start our design again from scratch, but we're going to make reference to what we already have, so we don't have to so this one says it's going to be wide, and it's taking some time to delete them, but that's a problem. We're still gonna find a way to delete them. So remember that you can actually zoom in, you can also zoom out. So zoom in, and I do not want that as well. So that means I can do a whole lot of things here. So I'm just going to delete all of this. Okay, just to show you guys how exactly this thing worked. Okay, I just replicated that. That was not fair. And then I need to also remove this guy and this hamburger man here. So that one is getting difficult to select. I think it's hidden somewhere here. So do we have any other thing that we don't even like here? Okay, I think this is just a shadow that I added. Yeah, it's just like a shadow that I added. So I'm going to just delete all of this, deleting this, deleting this, deleting this. deleting this as well, deleting this. What else? Okay, I've got this icons here, so I'm also going to delete them. All right, so there's something else I want to delete before I jump right into this design and show you guys exactly how this is done. Okay, so I got it, so I'm going to delete that as well. And then you can notice that there is another bigger portion here, so that is also something that I want to delete as well. So that's here, which you might be wondering what exactly it is. That is more like a dimension that I wanted to use that I got to create the background. Okay, just to make it look like a drop shadow. So here is what I'm going to do. So we have set every single thing, and this is what we want to replicate. Notice that we can still go ahead and delete all of these lines because certainly we do not need them. Okay, we do not need them, and yeah, we don't even need them. So I'm just gonna delete all of them, all the lines. So that's it. So deleting them, so this looks clean. Okay, so great. So one thing you're going to take note is I already have the font I'm going to use. This is the font for this. This is the hint Gunter bold. This is also this. So I just used 3 different fonts for this. I used one for this bold part here. That's what I used for it here. But every other thing remains just the same, and then this is also this. So I use basically 2 different fonts, 3, and this Barbara had a different font altogether. So in that case, let's start designing. The first thing you want to do is to get your actual size for your board. So to do that, you just got to go over here and select this rectangle here. I'm just gonna place it here. Remember, we have already a dimension for that, and we're just going to put it here, and then we're also going to put it here. So you see that we have a dimension for our artboard, and that's really good that we can properly start. So something else that I actually did here, you can get a rectangle and then you can just add a blur to it. I already have mine here, so it's going to be easier for me to work with. So I have mine here, which is just the same color with this. So I'm just going to increase it, but to make things clear for me, I'm going to change this color to something that I could differentiate them. I can change that later, but I just want to get this properly done. So I'm just going to increase this to get this proper size here. Okay, so this is what it's not really proper the size, not really the size, but it's gonna work anyway. Gonna increase it a little. Okay, so this is what I have right here. This is what I have. So I'm just gonna go over to filter, advanced filter. I'm going to increase the blur to 100%. So I'm gonna increase it to 100%. I'm just gonna click this button here and just hit this one as well. So I have my blur perfectly working now. So what I want to do is to send it to the back. So it's right in the back here, but you're not going to see the effect until I give this one at the front a different color altogether. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make it white. So if I'm making it white, then you're going to be able to see the blur area, the drop shadow. So with that, I'm pretty sure that we are done with this line, so we can still take the line off, right? So we're gonna take this line off, we're gonna take this line off, we're gonna take this line off, we're gonna also take this line here, this line, we're gonna take it off. So we just have this over here. Alright, so we have pretty what we want to do now, and it's really not a big problem, because from here we can go ahead to do all the designs that all the settings and adjustment that we want to make And for clarity purpose, because I have actually seen what I want to do here and the thing that I would still want to leave, I'm just going to take this one below and bring all of this line to the front. Also going to bring this second line here, also going to bring it to the front. That is the major line that I want. Then I can delete every other line. Because I don't really need them again. So you can always see my reference photo and get that done. So great and cool. This is just what I want for this design right now. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start by adding the logo and then the home, the menu. So to do that, I'm going to go over to text here. I'm going to go over to image and I'm going to get this image here. I'm going to just reduce it and I'm going to put it right here. Okay, I'm going to just put it right here. You can zoom it out to be really sure that it's going to fit in right here. It's going to look very little, very tiny, but that is the idea. So it's going to just be here. So that is it. We have fixed our logo. So logo is done. The next thing we want to do is to get our menu. Notice this is the menu that we certainly have for this. And this is the font we use for it. And the size is 48. So I'm going to just come over here. Text. So what I'm going to do now is there is something that affects this Canva app when you are doing this. So what we're going to do is, since we have a dimension for this, we're going to put all of them on a straight line first and replicate them over and over. So instead of having them in just one particular line, we're going to just break them for a different word. So this is going to be home. So that is for home. And we have the font here already. So this is it here. So, and the font size is 48. I think it's 48. Not even sure. Okay. Yes, 48. And it's bold. It's bold. So we're going to just take it and we're going to put it right here. Okay. So we have that right there. And what we want to do next is to make sure that it's this time around it fits in where we want it to perfectly. So we are not going to make it to be in the center. I'm going to change that. I'm going to put it somewhere here. Then I'm also going to reduce it again. And then this is perfect. So this fits what I want. So I'm just going to duplicate it. Bring it over here. But this time around, I'm going to not call it home. It's going to be shop. Okay, and that's great too. Okay, sorry. All right, so it's going to be called shop. And then I'm going to give it a proper spacing. So I'm just going to bring it towards this part here. I'm going to duplicate it again. And then this time around, I'm going to also put it towards this direction here and space it as well. But I'm going to call this one tech. And then I'm going to just reduce it, increase this other parts here. So I'm going to still put this and I'm going to put it here. I'm going to call it rich this time around. Then we are going to have a little bit of problem. Okay, so if I reduce this, so you notice that we now do not have enough space for our icons and the rest of them. So that means I'm still going to reduce this to just be in the middle, and we're just really going to use that 48. I think that's what we're going to do. So we're just going to use 48. So this is also going to be 48. It's also going to be 48. I'm going to put it this way. So it's going to be all in the center here. And then this one too is going to be I'm gonna still make that 48 as well. So I'm gonna make that 48, and it's going to be in the middle here. Okay, and then our reach is also going to be 48. So I'm going to drag it towards this direction. So I'm going to increase this so I can properly arrange this. So this seems to be good, and I'm just going to push this way. These ones are not really measured. I'm not measuring them with any box. I'm just trying to use my eyes to see what I'm doing. Okay, so in the reach, it's going to be here. Okay, so we have the icons straight up and placed properly the way we want them to be. So maybe they have not having enough space, but the next thing I want to do is to add a search button. So I'm going to say search icon. I'm going to have a lot of them here, but I'm going to just pick one. I think I like this. I'm just going to make it black. I'm going to reduce it. I'm going to put it right here. And this time around, I'm also going to still increase this so I can still get a perfect size. So it's going to be more like the icon as well. So it's taking that. It's ready. Okay, so the next thing I want to go for is this hamburger menu. So I'm going to just say menu. And I'm just going to use this one. Gonna reduce it. Please do not mind my voice. I've got a cold, but I just had to record this video because it's been a long time coming. Okay, so I'm gonna put this right here and just push it a little bit to get some space. So this is cool. Pretty good. All right, so you can see that we have our header and this is properly laid out. So the next thing we want to do is to add this next here. Okay, I want to just add this next, and you can see the font it has got 36. So what we're going to do is come over here, and we're just going to duplicate this and just bring it here. But this time around, I want to make sure that everything seems to be proper, so I'm going to duplicate this line and rotate it. But this time I'm going to just put it right here. So if I'm going to zoom this, I can push it this way again. So this way I have my stuff properly set for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this next, and then I'm going to change the font to this. It's not going to be bold. Then size is going to be 36. Okay, so this is okay. We can still increase it and just reduce this. So it's perfect. Okay, so we've got our next over there, and the next thing we want to add is a line. So we're just going to go over here and just search for line, and we're going to use this particular line here, change the color to black, and we're just going to place it here. But to be sure that we place it in the right direction, we need to zoom it in and see what we're doing. So this seems to be good. So we are just going to replicate this one here and just put it over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to call this just 2x, or let's say 2019. Just trying to change some things anyway. Okay, so this is it here. So we have this part here. So I told you guys that I'm going to be using a different motorcycle, but you can still get that from the description. I dropped the link there, and the next thing to do is to put the bike over there. So I'm just going to come over here, select my image, and then my bike here. So what I did, I went to remove.bg. The link is also in the description, so you can use that to remove backgrounds, or you can also check my other video the link is just popping out of the screen right now. You can see that video where I talked about removing background from images without using Photoshop. So I'm going to just use this because I've removed the background already. I'm going to reduce this, and I'm going to just put it right here. So to be sure that it's properly fixed, I'm just going to put it this way, and this is cool. So you see that we are getting closer to what we want to design. Right, so we are really getting closer. So the next thing I want to do right now is to put our content and actually call it R6. We can actually say it is YZF, but this is not what we're going to do. We're going to use the actual brand for the motorcycle. So what I'm going to do is, if you notice, the font we use here is this. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to add a text, and the text I'm going to use is going to be called R6. So I'm just going to use R6, simple. And then I'm just going to increase this. If I want to do this easily, I'm just going to zoom out, so zoom in, so I'll be able to do that. So I'm going to put this right here, and the font is this. So this is the exact font that I use. So I can't reduce the spacing or do anything here because it's a big font anyways. So I'm just going to put this here, really make it bigger like this. So I think this is kind of good. I'm just going to zoom out to be sure that everything seems to be okay. Okay, this is fine. So we have this here. I'm going to give it a different color. I said I'm going to be giving it blue. So this is the blue that I'm just going to be using. I want it to be a little bit brighter. So I'm going to be using this blue. The next thing I want to add is this font here that says friction bursting linear design. So that is 88. So I'm just going to come over here. Just going to duplicate this, gonna come over here, and I'm just gonna type it here. So it's friction bursting linear design. So good and great. So it's going to be like this, and then let me see what it's 88, and then the spacing is I just reduce the spacing a little. So it's gonna be, size is going to be 88, and then I'm just going to reduce this here because I don't like this. So great. Okay, so gonna reduce this like this, and I'm going to also just take this to 0.1. Okay, I think this is cool. Okay, this is great. Let's see if we have almost some spacing. So it's gonna be like 1.0. Okay, what fonts? Okay, so it's gonna be 1.0. So this is great. So we have our R6 and we have this here. So the next thing I want to do is just replicate this here and just put it here, and I'm going to call this replicated by UI. So that's my name over there, and then I'm going to reduce this. I'm just going to reduce it to fit in this particular height, this width here. So I can just do that like this, so it just fits. I'm going to just give it a lighter color so it doesn't overshadow that, because that is not the point of this design. So I'm just going to put this here. So I'm just going to show that it is perfectly okay. So this is it here. So in case you do not know how this font works, maybe you might not have this if you're using a free account, but you have more fonts that will do this exact stuff for you. So the next thing we want to do right now is to add this wrapper down, and I'm going to just go over to illustration. I'm going to go to shapes and this, and I'm going to just put this right here. And before that, I'm just going to reduce this like this. So notice that this is just going to be right about here, and it's just going to be here. So I'm just going to replicate this to be sure that the line is properly great. So this is cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to zoom that and just increase it. Okay, so this is okay. You can also zoom this, and then I'm going to increase that. So this is fine. Okay, this doesn't really fit properly. So here is what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to increase this like this. Okay, I think this is cool. So I'm just going to delete this. We have that. So this is going to be blue, and I'm going to give it a transparency so you can still see the beautiful part of that design over there. Okay, this is great. So if you check here, we used a transparency of 64. So let's see what we're using here, if we are even close to it. Oh, still in the 60 range. So this is pretty good. So let's still try 64. So this is cool. The next thing you want to do right here is to add this stuff here. That's the social media buttons, and the size is still 48. So if you come here and you pick this one, that is 48. So all you're going to do is just duplicate it, bring it right here. I'm just gonna zoom this. So I'm gonna call this one FB. I'm gonna give a space and write Twitter. I'm going to call this one Instagram, and that's all. So I'm just gonna push it this way, drag it to this point here. This doesn't fit properly, so I'm just gonna put this here as well. So this is cool. So we have this right here, and you could decide to give it to try white on it or black. I like it to be black. It's contrasting properly. So we also want to add a line, so we're just gonna borrow this line here and put it right here. Okay, put it right here, and then we are going to look for an icon. We're going to look for an icon called WhatsApp. So we're going to just search for WhatsApp, and we are going to see this one. I like this because it's easier to work with. Everything here is going to be black. We're going to just change all the inner colors to black, and leave that one to be white. That is cool, like it. So I'm just going to put it right here. But to be sure that we're not taking too much of space, we need to still come over this way and reduce it. So this way it's good, right? So you see how far we've been able to come. So what we need to do next is to just add our bike in this other line just below it, and this is going to be perfect and really amazing. So what we're going to do right now is to just duplicate this bike. Okay, over here, just gonna get it to be a little bit bigger this time, and we want it to also have almost this size of this guy here, and to also have this bottom part here. So this is what we also want to achieve. So I'm going to increase this guy, and I'm also going to try to reduce him this way and reduce him this way as well. So here we have this guy, here. So I think he seems to be good like this. Okay, this is perfect and really good. So one thing we want to do next is let's just push it a little bit forward. So we have this and we've got a space, a very nice space here, so it's not confused where it is. The next thing we want to just do, I'm going to delete this line again, so I don't want to have plenty of that line here. Okay, so that's what we have so far. It's really great, it's really cool, really amazing. Let's start by adding this text over here. So this is the text we're going to add right now, and this is the font and it's size of 360. So we're going to just pick that over here, and we are going to call that particular text score BARBA. Okay, so this is it. Okay, so that's it. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to give it a different color. I'm going to give it this color, and I'm going to increase it to this. Let's choose, this is the font here, and I'll put this over here to 360. Sure. Okay, so I'm just gonna increase it. Okay, that would not go like that, so I'm just gonna increase it like this, make it to bend a little to the front. So it's going to be 360. I need to be sure what it is, what font that is. So it's 360. It's gonna make it bold, I think so, but not really bold. So it's going to be 360. 360. Okay, 361 is still fine, because trying to put it down there is going to be a little bit of a problem. So this is going to be here, and from what we've got here, what I actually did was I chose a particular font, a color, and the color is this one. And then what I did was to give it a transparency. So I'm just going to give this a transparency to 64. 64 is fine. And then the next thing I want to do is to create these lines, big lines there. So I can still use this, duplicate it, just increase it like so. All I'm going to do is reduce this like this. So I'm going to put it here, but this time around I'm going to just increase it this way. So if I'm going to put it this way, certainly means that it's going to be somewhere around this part here, and the color is also going to be this. So I'm going to just see what we have. So this is what we're doing. Okay, and this is great. So I can just take it this way. Then I'm going to also give it a transparency, because this one here has got a transparency, and is 64 as well. So I'm gonna come over here and still make it unison to be in uniform. So I'm just gonna put here, say it's going to be 64. 64. Okay, great. So I'm going to push it to the back. I'm gonna duplicate it. Okay, it's not wanting me to select it, so I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to also put this one to the back this way. So this one here is fine. It's really cool. I like the way it is, but we can also still try to maybe make it look different or kind of pretty. If we want, we could still duplicate it and, you know, bring it to this position like this, give it a darker color, and maybe bring it down. Just bring it down like this. Okay, bring it down like this, and then give it a transparency of 64 if we want to, or just leave it that way. So it's fine, right? But I think we don't need that. So here we have this. I'm just going to raise this to the top a little, and to do that I just want to zoom, so I'll be able to drag that to the top and then take it to the back, so it's fine this way. Okay, so we have that ready, and the next thing we would want to do is to come below here and write all of this information just below. And we need to be careful with that because we do not want it to not be aligned. So we're gonna have the first one is gonna be aligned in here. We're gonna have another one. We're gonna have another one, say it's gonna be here, and then the bigger part of it is just going to be right here. So here's the thing we're going to do. We are gonna just see what we have already. This one, the font is this same but 30, so we are still going to do that. We're going to come over here. We're going to pick one of these fonts, just copy it. We're going to come over here and just let's use the space to just type something and make it 30. So we're just going to make that 30. And we're just gonna zoom that. And what we're gonna write, the first side, we're gonna write, we're gonna type engine. Gonna type engine, and we are just going to bring it just below. So we're going to bring it here. It's going to be here, or I can get it down a little. I want everything to be properly aligned. So that is it. It's good. It's going to be engine. So we're going to duplicate it. And the next one we're going to duplicate, we're going to call it, that is the horsepower. That's the brake horsepower. So it's going to be BHP. Then that. We're going to still duplicate it, and the next one we are going to call it as a torque, right? So alright, then we are just going to make sure it's fit. We're going to duplicate it again, and we are going to call this one this is going to be the total. That's the top speed, so it's going to be like top speed. You can call it maximum speed if you want, but I want to call it top speed. So just going to put this like this. Just going to also raise it to the top to fit here. So here we have the most amazing part of this. So the next one we're going to get is the one just below it, and that one is 33. To do that, we are just going to still replicate one of this and use it for what we want to do. So this one, we duplicate it, bring it here. Let me try to put something here, so we will be careful with our settings. So I'm going to put this here, and this engine is going to start from here. So I'm going to just push them a little, just a little. So starting from this one, this is the engine for this is for this particular bike is $599, because I still went ahead to make research on that, and the size is going to be 33, and it's going to be bold as well. So this one is going to not be bold. So this is how they are going to be. This is going to be bold. I'm just going to copy that and bring it to this point here, and this is going to be 87.1 kilowatt, right? Exactly. So I'm going to also put that for the torque. So that is going to be, gonna just move towards the side. this is going to be 61.7. You can actually check on online. This is the basic stuff for this. So I'm also going to duplicate this as well. I'm also going to put it here, and this is going to be the top speed is 260, and this is really great. Kilometers per hour. So it's going to be like this. So it's cool. And here we are good to go. So this is going to be not be bold. I do not want it to be bold. Just going to increase it. So I have to reduce this like this. Just going to raise it to this point. Okay, everything is okay. Then we want to just push this one closer so it doesn't look so far apart. So it's cool this way, so it doesn't look far apart. So I'm gonna put this right here, put this right here. So this way we have them closer, but not perfectly, but they are good. So we want to just put this over here, but if we still want, we can make sure they spread out to this end here. So it's going to be like this. So I can still move this one this way, this one this way. So that way everything is just spread out, right? So you can also have this one here, and can just push this one this way. So with this, we are able to say that we have this in the perfect way. So I'm just going to reduce that, and this is really cool. So one thing we can't do is we can't just come over here to, okay, seems like something seems to be messed up here. Okay, what is that? What just happened? Okay, so I think I'm just going to do a lot of work right now. So I'm gonna put this way. That happens to be because of the way I kind of shrink the design. So, but do not worry, everything is under control. Nothing is bad already. We are good. Okay, so this one is also going to be fine. I'm just going to touch this one like so, and this one like so. Sometimes this really happens, but everything is back to normal. All right, so I'm gonna just delete this guy. I'm gonna delete this line here. I'm gonna delete this particular line here. I'm gonna delete this line. I'm gonna delete this one. I'm gonna leave this one because I need to do the last part of the thing for this design that is left, is just to go ahead and write our pre-order and make that look really great. And that pre-order is with this particular font, and the size is 82. So I'm gonna come here, add a text. We're gonna call it pre-order, and the size is 86. So let me be sure that the size is okay. The size is 82, and then it's going to be this. So it's cool already. What I'm going to do is just zoom out and just reduce this like so. Make it black. Just reduce it. So I'm going to make it to come this way, but because of what I already have, so I'm going to just use this particular line as a guide to make sure it's just this way. So it's going to be just here. And then the next thing I want to do is go over here and search for I'm going to search for triangle. I'm going to search for triangle, and there is a particular triangle that I want to use, this one. So I'm going to give this blue because that is the color we are working with. I'm going to just rotate it this way, and I'm just going to put it somewhere here. Okay, I'm just going to put it somewhere here. Somewhere here, it's fine. But because of what we're doing, we might want it to be a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to put it here, but I want everything to be really set. So I'm just going to leave it here. I'm going to put it here. And then my pre-order is going to be, no, I'm going to take it, I'm going to drag it to the top a little. Then I'm going to just reduce it as well. And then take my pre-order and just put it right here. So I'm going to delete this, I'm going to delete this, I'm going to delete this. I'm going to also delete this. And this is how exactly you can design a modern UI interface. That's a modern UI. Did I just say that? So, and it's going to be perfect, it's going to be cool, it's going to be great, and you can send this to a client immediately and you get them asking you for your, they pay you for that. Okay, so I'm going to do one more thing here. I'm going to just put this way. Just a few adjustments to do and everything will be fine. So I just want this to, the space here seems to be too much. So I just want to drag this to the top a little. So they all will be fine. Like this. And like this. Like this. And okay. Then this one, I'm going to just do it this way. Okay, so I'm gonna delete this. But okay, I need to put this here because there is a notice something here, and I need to correct that. I need this to be at the exact middle, if not. So I'm going to edit this. So I'm just gonna push them because it's not nice having them around this 2019. So I'm just gonna push them towards this direction. So I'm just gonna be careful taking them just this way. Okay, fine. So I'm going to just push it here. It's gonna be nice to have it here. To also have this one here and this one here, and we can also have this one just right here. So I need to do some proper shifting. Okay, this is great. So this is pretty much better, and it looks really cool and really amazing. So guys, this is the end of this video, and with this you can see that we have actually created something really modern, something really nice, cool, and great. And with our mobile phone, we didn't do anything with a computer. So if you like this video, all I want you to do is push the like button and subscribe. You can also drop a comment to tell me what new thing you've learned from this video. I will like to see your comment and interact with you. Thank you. I'll see you guys in the next video.